So my involvement with AIM started when I was working for a car group, and I was the chief accountant for that group at the time, and I had to do some very small accounts for some of the directors, and they were very appreciative of the information I was giving them. And this led me to thinking about, well, perhaps there'll be other people out there who would also appreciate that direct involvement. So with that, I started thinking about doing my own thing, and I saw a classified advertisement in the local newspaper, and so I applied to AIMS in that from that advert, and it all went from there really. And it was very good. I had a very good 20 odd years working under the AIMS operation, really. So I started in 1994 and I finished in 2018. And I met some very nice people to technology, totally. When I started, very few clients had got PCs, very few clients had got mobile phones, and it was very much a question of using Everwrite books and other analysis books to record accounts in there. And of course, thinking about internet, well, that was in its infancy really when we started. No broadband. All the communication I had with London was on dial-up. Henry was very insistent that everybody should have emails, which we riled against really, because there's just no clients out there to speak to on email at all. And we kept saying, why do you want us to do email? This will never catch on. Never catch on. Anyway, it did do, didn't it? Yeah, we put up with his ideas on emails, and of course with the computer we used to back up to floppy disks, and the accounting system that we used was Compaq, and that was in its infancy as well at that time. So we've grown with Compaq, and I used Lotus 123 as my spreadsheet, and of course that's all changed since now. We didn't use databases. That all came later on. And we didn't do any web filing. It was all done by paper and put in the post and sent off to HMRC. And in 1994-95, tax went from the preceding year to the current year basis of assessment, and then self-assessment started in 95-96 as well. One big thing that I noticed was that we used to have a lot of tax investigations in the early days, and they gradually have got less and less and less. Things like car benefit in kind, that used to be quite a good perk to have at one time, and of course it's reduced in its importance as time's gone on. The only worthy benefit in kind now is the sort of electric cars, isn't it really? And thinking back to holding AIMS client files, in the very first days we had 3 paper files to keep on clients, because we hadn't developed computerized record keeping as much at that time. So so that was how we got on. So how's accounting changed? Well, there's been changes, small changes in Companies Act requirements. we grew from a lot of sole traders to more and more incorporations as time went on, because the tax treatment was marginally better. And other than that, it's really small tweaks which we just took in our stride more than anything. Okay, I was involved with AIMS from 1994 up to 2018, and I retired in 2018 because I got prostate cancer, and I decided at that time it was the right time to stop working. Since then, it's all fine, and we've got over it okay. So that's the main thing. So in 1994, thinking about getting clients, what we used to do was to get the Yellow Pages telephone book and really just choose the sector of industry that you're interested in, that you might like to try and get business from, and just cold call them. And we were allowed to do that in those days. The rules weren't as tight, so we just put a finger at the top of the A's and started going down. So as a result, I had a lot of businesses whose category began with A, B, and C. You know, I got a lot of automobile engineers and a lot of cafes and bakers and butchers and car sales, and never got to D's because I got enough business by then. And it was really good meeting these new clients who I knew that I could help, and I did do it. Then we became good friends, and they valued the work that I did for them, and they often asked for opinion on how to deal with items in their business life. So you're acting more as a financial director, if you like, for a very small business. And there are all sorts of clients out there, going from the really illiterate to the very clever, and you don't know who you're going to come across next, and you have to pitch your level of conversation according to who you've got in front of you. I mentioned illiterate because I did have 2 or 3 chaps who had got big redundancy money from the coal mines when they closed down from the particularly over in Nottinghamshire, and they all wanted to set up in pubs round and about because that's what they knew about. They were very big drinkers, and but as a result, every time they got a single piece of paper come through the post, they just couldn't read it. They weren't very strong at all on their school skills. So it was good to help them, though. It was all right. I think what else to tell you about. So yeah, 20 odd years of doing this type of stuff. I started out going to visit clients on a regular basis, and I was pretty keen on doing quarterly accounts with them because I felt they were valuable to them. Not just seeing people once a year, because you lost contact with them if you did that. So you could see the progress of these clients and the way they were working over time. And we built an office on this side of our house, and over time I got them to come here with their work, just to save me the travelling time more than anything. Okay, I was age 37, working in a motor group, and as part of that job as the chief accountant for the group, I had to do some small sets of accounts for some of the subsidiary directors, and they were very interested and enjoyed the direct relationship with me when we explained what these accounts represented. And that gave me the thought that I'd like to use my experience in industry to go forward and to have my own practice. And because so often the accountants in the towns had no industrial experience at all, so I thought that would be an advantage to me. So I did that. And so the question was how to do it. Well, I'd got no experience of doing personal tax returns at all, except my own. And I'd no great knowledge about marketing. So my wife actually saw an advert in the local paper for AIMS, and I followed it up and met Kingsley and Henry and the marketing team down there as well at the time, down in Red Lion Street in London. And it went from there, and I couldn't have done it without the technical support of Kingsley. He's just been fantastic all the way through, and the marketing ideas. Well, I have no thoughts on marketing at all. I couldn't market anything, you know. If I'm left to my own devices, it's so it's just totally using their thoughts, their ideas on stationery and everything else that made it possible. And the name of AIMS, certainly towards the end of my time, was coming through quite strongly in the area as well. So that was quite good, but that wasn't the predominant factor in the first place. So I got confidence in doing my own thing by having the AIMS background behind me. So then you said, what did I do after I'd finished with AIMS? Well, I retired in 2018, and at that point I'd got something I wanted to do. There was I've been involved locally in a bit of some town and country planning issues on houses being built, and there was one aspect of the law that didn't seem fair to me, and I got the United Nations involved because they are interested in environmental law, and together we managed to get the UK law on town and country planning changed. So for this one small aspect of it. So that was one thing I did after retiring. I've also learned to play the tuba. Now, I'd never blown a wind instrument in my life before then. And the local brass band was short of a tuba player, and I was approached to join that. So I was given the instrument, so right, get on with it, go and learn it and come back. So now, a few years later, I'm more or less proficient in playing the tuba. So that's a thing I did. And I bought a paddleboard. So I go paddleboarding at weekends. So and that, together with a lot of walking around the Peak District, is more or less what I do since leaving AIMS. When I was working at AIMS, I made sure that I got a good work-life balance. We had adopted 2 children in sort of 1996, around then, and so it was important for me to spend time with the children as well as doing my work. And by working from home, I could do that, and I was able to go to their sports days and things like that because I'd stopped working. So you're able to balance how you do your work as long as the work gets done. It doesn't matter when it gets done. And as time went on and I wanted to spend a little bit more leisure time, I used to take a Monday afternoon off to go to the gym, and then that extended to a Monday and a Wednesday afternoon off, and you just make your own rules as long as the work gets done, and you keep in contact with your clients. That's the main thing really on that one. So that's that. Would I recommend doing AIMS? Well, I would do, yeah. I've had 24 years of very enjoyable and varied work with some very nice people, and very appreciative people. And when I retired, you could tell that they were appreciative, because they came and gave me presents and cards and all sorts of things like that, and said what a nice working relationship we'd had together. And it's not just a question of preparing tax returns and preparing sets of accounts. It's getting involved with these people so that you get behind them and you can see the holistic situation, from where they are now to where they are in their retirement, and you can be thinking about who the owner of this business might be in so many years' time. Where's that business going? What do they want out of it? What's going to make them happy? And if you can think that bit through with them, you're adding more to it and you know where you're heading to. So yes, I would recommend AIMS. The back up is good regarding the technical stuff, and the marketing is very helpful as well. So yeah, I'll go for it.